Trooper here. I'm back for some more Magic Duels Story Mode, and we're getting on to the fourth part of Jace's arc in Shadows over Innistrad, which again is interesting just that it has 6. I kind of forgot about that until I came back to this and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So let's get in and see what part 4 is about. Might I add, this guy's nifty armor set. That's actually a card you can get in Shadows over Innistrad. That's a cool equip card. I believe it's called Slayer's Plate, and I believe it's pretty cool. So more on that maybe eventually. But here we go with this. The final pages of the mysterious journal lead Jace to the doors of the foreboding Thraben Cathedral. The ground is broken, and the once proud gleaming spires are warped and twisted. The townspeople and Cathars of Thraben swarm around Jace. Their paranoid suspicions quickly give way to violence. In other words, they've gone a little nuts. Yeah, Thraben's townspeople, and that guy's apparently a captain of the guard, and he has the Slayer's Plate. Oh, a quick start for Jace. Oh, this is promising, because I have something that only costs 1 blue mana, and I have like 3 islands, so I should be able to cast this in turn 1, and this one in turn 2, and then, well, we'll see if I get like a 4th island or something that's somewhere in between that would be cheaper. But yeah, let's do this. So here comes my phantasmal bear. Remember this guy? He's like a 2/2 creature, and if he's hit with a spell or ability, you have to sack him. Although at least, as long as they don't have the ability to target him, that means, hey, I get to use a bear. So, well, they're summoning something. Tap and untap creature you control, transform town gossip monger. Okay, so we got a transform card here, but it's not apparently actually workable in the set because it doesn't have a set symbol. Sided Rabble attacks each turn if able, and you can power it up by +1/+0 until end of turn by paying 2 generic mana each boost. I mean, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna have a good time with my Fog Bank because that's gonna be blocking that like a lot. Oh, thank goodness! I got Illusionary Servant. It's another one that's, as an illusion creature, it needs to be sacrificed whenever it's targeted by something. But on the other hand, it's a 3/4 flyer, and I will be able to cast it next turn. So let's see how much they really want to keep their health going here. Because if they, okay, they don't block, they let that completely through. But I have a Fog Bank, and Fog Banks, darn lips, Fog Banks are invulnerable. I mean, it's a 0/2 wall with flying, so it can block flyers. But that preventing all combat damage, that really adds up to fantastic blocker. I mean, it really is a wall. Aha, just the wind. Return target creature to its owner's hand, and it has a madness cost of 1 blue, which is actually slightly cheaper than its already cheap 1 generic and 1 blue. So I might use that later, but right now I'd like to have my Illusionary Servant out. Okay, so let's see if we can attack with the bear again. So right now the Thraben townspeople that I'm up against are, I think I'm set up to basically maul them. So this could be a steamroller type situation here. But they have not attacked with their creature, because, you know, sometimes the computer gets unlucky too. That is a thing. Militant Inquisitor. Militant Inquisitor gets +1/+0 for each equipment you control. I'm an instrument of the church wielded against Avacyn's enemies. Okay. So, I mean, a 2/3 creature for 3 converted mana cost is not that bad. But, yeah. And the fact that it gets powered up for every equipment is something special. And yes, that is in this set. Oh, I have a 4th. I have a 4th island. Can pay for something with a mana cost of 4. Can control a target creature if its toughness is 2 or less. Yeah, I think I'd seen this one before. This could be interesting. I think I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to take their gossip monger here. Oh, I forced their hand. I forced them to use it. So they had to tap the other creature to transform it. Oh my gosh. Yes, that is funny. And now there's nothing stopping me from attacking straight. I knew either I'd gain control of it, or they'd interrupt me at the last moment. And they did. They interrupted me at the last moment, so congrats on that. But at the same time, it left them wide open. Oh, they just let themselves take 5 points of damage for that. True Faith Sensor. Oh, this one is not one that I can have in this actual game. I can only have it in the game. Okay. So this is quest mode only. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. As long as equipped creature is a human, it gets an additional +1/+0. Has an equip cost of 2. Okay. So that's decent. See, Incited Rabble is a human card, and so is Militant Inquisitor, so they can boost up quite a bit. Okay, one of those I will be able to block. So thank you, Fogbank, for being highly invulnerable. The other one I'll have to remember next time to keep something at the ready for. Maybe. Oh, they ended their turn. Of course, that one does have vigilance. However, I also have just the wind card, so I can just fling that away. So, goodbye. You're gonna have to be transformed all over again next time. Congrats on letting that one through. Okay. I should be able to just block that next time, so let's go all out again. So, why not? And they again left themselves wide open. I mean, they dealt 3 damage to me, so this is not a completely one-sided story mode quest. I mean, it could have been. It could have been. Sometimes they can go terribly bad against you. And some of them are, like, really tough from the get-go, but this one has been going pretty smoothly. And as I was going to say before, sometimes the computer gets unlucky. And this time, I think it may have just gotten very unlucky. It doesn't matter how powerful that is. It's not getting past my Fogbank. Unruly Mob. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Unruly Mob. That's actually from a much older set. I forget how far back it is, but this one's actually kind of considered a bit of a classic. So whenever another creature that you control dies, it gets to power up semi-permanently with counters. So yeah, that one can go out of control. Now they're putting their Gossip Monger back. And I mean, that's a cheap card for to put out, so yeah. I should have saw them doing that pretty quickly as long as they had like one plane still powered. And they did. Pour over the pages. I don't think I really need to do that. And this one, I might want to leave something in my hand just so that it still has the ability to... Well, the thing is, this Sturmgeist here, I mean, for 3 generic and 2 blue, like about 4 converted overall, you get something with flying, but its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. So that could be a lot more underpowered if you don't have a big hand size. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. You see, that powers it back up for later rounds, because whenever you draw a card, that means it'll gain power and toughness, because it's got this whole variable figure running here. So, yeah. So I'm not going to play either of those right now. I'm going to just go with what I got. And my opponent will be reduced to like 1 point of health. I mean, admittedly, white is often the... well, I can't go all out because I'm not going to get past that, but I can attack, however, with my illusionary servant here. because it has flying. So we will use the flying. And we will wait and see what happens, because I have a couple of blockers, but mainly just because I couldn't get past them with this, because that thing is just way too tough right now. Oh, wait. They're inciting the rebel. Okay, fair enough. As I said, they would have to spend the attention on getting that transformed again, and they did. Piece of Angel. Oh, this one is a great favorite of mine in my decks in this game, because it's just a good overall card. It's here from Shadows over Innistrad, so I just ran into one of my favorites. Piece of Angel. Whenever Piece of Angel or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Which is really nice, because I mean it's a 2/2 creature for 2 generic and 1 white, so that is a pretty good ability to go with that. And it also has pay 2 generic and sacrifice another permanent, transform Piece of Angel. And on the other side, Wayward Disciple, which, might I add, this goes from white to black, like, real fast, literally. But for this, whenever Wayward Disciple or another creature you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That is, and might I add, it gains 2 more points of toughness, so you get a tougher blocker if you want to use them that way, or need to for that matter. Plus, every time a creature you control dies, including him, if it comes down to that, you basically get to siphon some of their life. So that is a good card overall, and I am right now staring right down the barrel of it. But again, I have a flyer and they don't. Cathar's Companion. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Cathar's Companion gains indestructible until end of turn. So they can make that into an invulnerability situation. And I only have 1 flyer that can deal like 3 points of damage at a time, so this could be a bit tricky. I just got an Aberrant Researcher. Flying at the beginning of your upkeep, put the top card of your library into your graveyard. If it's an instant or sorcery card, transform Aberrant Researcher. And yeah, you can get this in this set. Perfected Form, as it's a flying with 5 points of power and 4 points of toughness. So yeah, you get a really big bug monstrosity out of this one. But the question is, do I want to roll with it? Because I can attack a couple more turns, and I have so much more health right now that I probably will be fine without having to actually cast this. Because if I cast this, I'll start losing cards off the top of my library. But then again, I don't think they'll live long enough, one way or the other, for that to be a problem. I do need a little more attack power to get past them getting extra health whenever they cast a creature. So, yeah. And again, I just can only really fly right over them. I don't really have a choice. I have to use the flying as much as I can right now. So because they don't have anything with flying or reach, I have to fly. I have to go with flying to just get past everything. Because, as you know, flying means that it can only be blocked by creatures with flying or reach. Inspiring Captain. When Inspiring Captain enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay, they're all going to power up. They're all going to get a buff. But I have at least 1 blocker that is just invulnerable. And can they afford another creature? That's a lot of power aimed at me. And another unruly mob. So, okay, we get that situation. Of course, I haven't actually killed any of their creatures this whole time either. Right. Okay. See, that one has to attack each turn. Okay, I'm gonna have to block this. Okay. You see, this bear I don't need for my strategy. I can let it go. So that can help. Because I just need my flyers to be able to survive to the next turn. That's all I really need. That, and I'm about to block the second most powerful creature here. And they don't have any cards in their hand and they're tapped out. So there's nothing more they can do. So I'm going to take about 8 points of damage. Because I got 2, 5, 8, and I'm gonna block 2 of them. That thing's gonna go down. This one's just gonna have its attack just completely negated by my nearly invincible fog bank. I say nearly because that only prevents combat damage. If this was a red deck and they were using burns, they could so tear through that thing's 2 points of toughness and just kill it right off. Especially when some of the cheaper red spells can deal at least 2 points of damage. So, yeah, it's not quite invincible, but at least for this story mode mission, it basically is. So if you get this fog bank in your opening hand like I did, totally go with it, because that will seriously help you to survive through this. So I'm gonna let that block just go through now. Of course, the other thing is fog bank only has like no attack power, so it doesn't really block kill anything. It just negates them. But fog bank is a good card. I just wish you could get it in something other than just the story modes. Okay, that one is powered up now, but I don't believe they're gonna get past this turn. Oh, and I just got a sleep card. Okay, we're doing this. Sleep. Tap all creatures target player controls. Those creatures don't untap during that player's next untap step. It is a sorcery, so you can only cast it on your turn. And it is for 4 mana overall. You got two generic and 2 blue is the mana cost. But for what it does, Sleep is a very good card. Because A, I'm going to tap all the creatures that my opponent controls. And B, they're going to stay untapped next turn unless they force them out of it. So basically, my opponent right here is doomed more than one way. I'm casting Sleep. Thanks, Jace, for having this card in there, because it is just awesome. And I can just go with the my 2 flyers and just let things run. So the Aberrant Researcher and my Illusionary Servant are just gonna go to town on them, which is basically all attacking, because the walls that wall does not attack. It has Defender. It cannot attack. So, but I have gotten through it. I'd say the MVP here was definitely the fog bank. I mean, it really did just prevent so much damage that I didn't need to worry about anything else. I mean, I just had to have at least something that could attack round around. And so whenever my flyers came in, that kind of sealed the deal. So, yeah, MVP equals fog bank. Jace wins. So let's see what goes on in the town of Thraben after this. Oh, and of course, we have quest progress. So, yes. Inside Thraben's cavernous cathedral, Jace spies a pale, slight figure wreathed by floating scrolls. She pores over one of the strange warp formations. She suddenly looks up, startled from her own investigation. She is the moonfolk scholar Tamiyo, author of the mysterious journal that fell into Jace's hands. As Jace approaches, a long shadow eclipses the light overhead. Suddenly, he is overwhelmed by vertigo and the raw, metallic smell of blood. So basically, a powerful warrior has just come up right when he meets the author of the journal. Like, he was really trying to figure out who wrote this, what were they investigating. He's just literally presented with his answer, with Tamiyo, the moon sage, and then suddenly it's like, okay, we're gonna have to go into a fight right now, so we can talk about this later. So that's pretty much what's gonna happen next time, is they're just gonna suddenly be in on it and have to discuss this whole investigation thing later. So it's like, we have a more immediate threat. So we'll get back to that next time here on Magic Duels in Story Mode. For now, this has been Glitch Reaper, and I do hope to hear from you all later. So bye for now, everybody, and remember, Friday Night Magic.